Hey guys, you're back with Juzzy, and I'm here today with another Rebel install video for the Honda Rebel 500 Special Edition. This is my tweaked Rebel, and in this video I'm going to talk to you today about a new set of handlebars which I've purchased for the bike. Now in my last video I talked about swapping the Diablo drag bar and putting back the OEM handlebars, and I did that because on longer rides I was finding that reaching forward on the bike was just actually starting to hurt a little bit. Great for a drag look, excellent appeal, get lots of good comments about it, but I did feel that the bike was just a tiny bit uncomfortable to ride. Perhaps if you're a younger rider or not sort of 45 like I am, then you'd probably like that on longer rides or would just put up a bit more. But what I've decided to do was to ride with it with the standard handlebars, albeit at a slightly lower height to what you would normally have on a factory Honda Rebel, because of this K-Speed Diablo headlight setup that I've got here, which ends up meaning that you have to change these clamps out for a slightly lower one. So what I decided was that I actually did enjoy riding the bike with it slightly up, but I wanted to have an even more relaxed feel to it. So in lots of my comments over the last, I think it's a year, I think I bought this bike around September of 23. And in lots of my comments I talked about referring to people to a fellow called Dave Takumi. I'll leave his Instagram on the screen right now, but you'll also find references to him on my Instagram for this bike. So my Instagram for this bike is Tweaked Rebel, just as you see here. And I've also got content on my new Tesla on the way, as well as my Lancer Evo 10. Now on this bike, I thought, okay, I'll give it a few weeks ride. I'll see what it's like to ride. One thing I did notice is that, with these mirror brackets used to hold the Diablo mirrors, they were just slightly a little bit too low. So basically I adjusted the controls to tilt forward so that I could try and get max tilt on the swivel point of the mirror here. So as you can see, I've got it up as far as I can go, but I just found it to be just that little bit too low. So I rotate it, couldn't get it to sit up high enough in terms of view when I'm, of course, riding the bike. So I ended up rotating, undoing this bolt and moving this arm up. Otherwise, in terms of riding, so the riding style was much more relaxed, of course, compared to the drag bar setup. And so I decided that I would try something new. Now with Dave Takumi, he is a guy that sells motorbike parts that are custom made in Thailand to the world. So he is a person that I've reached out to before. I didn't actually end up proceeding with any purchases for parts on the bike. I did end up actually buying almost all of the parts for this bike from K-Speed directly, and then where I could see that there were parts that I could just buy more cheaper, either be it on eBay or AliExpress, I did that. So I basically decided to reach out to Dave after I had a look through his Instagram feed and I had a look at his YouTube channel. Now, this fellow doesn't really have, for the sort of service that he offers to the Rebel and motorbike community as a whole, he doesn't actually have a very large following, but he's super easy to actually deal with, and the sort of gateway to custom parts that you just can't buy anywhere because they are custom parts and they're not just mass-produced off-the-shelf parts. His ability to get you those parts is just amazing. So he's super easy to deal with. I've just basically messaged him on Instagram and said, hey, I've seen a couple of parts on the Honda Rebel that I'd like to buy. Can you tell me how much it costs, how long, etc., etc.? And the two parts that I actually had a look at, of which one I'd only sort of mentioned in the last video, was this drag bar setup. So this is actually, ape bar setup. So this handlebar is actually all custom. So it's actually made by a fellow, which is he sells his products under the name of Noi Customs. So Dave Takumi is an agent that works to closely with him, and he actually sells these custom parts for the Rebel to the world. So as you'll see, the handlebar thickness is 1 inch, just like it is on the Rebel. On earlier model Rebels, I believe it had a different sized handlebar, but if you mention what year you've got, they'll know what you'll need to get you sorted. So the reason why I went with this setup, and I'll just bring it up here, and I'll place it without hopefully damaging anything. If you have a look here, you'll see that the height of the these custom handlebars, these handlebars are actually 4 inch. And I said to Dave, I want a set of handlebars that I don't need to actually change any of the cabling for. I want it easy. That's what most people are going to want. And I want it just to be a nice and convenient install. And if you have a look at my videos, you can see that it is actually super easy to swap out handlebars. So they do sit higher than the factory handlebars, and they've got a way meaner sort of menacing look than this sort of bicycle look. And yeah, I can't wait to install them. Now, one thing I did do, and I'll just pick that up again, is I requested this one to be slightly different to the bars that they normally make. So Noi Customs normally makes this bar to be the same length as the factory handlebars, and I asked them to actually make it less for me. So I requested these bars to be 69 centimeters wide. Now the reason for that is because in Australia it's completely legal to lane filter, and what you do find though is that even though there's campaigns out there by the government to tell people to make way for motorbikes because they can legally lane split and ride on the shoulder, you do find that there are people out there that just refuse to budge and just have no idea. So you probably know, if you are a motorbike rider, what it's like to deal with car drivers once they sort of get in that cocoon and they're just sort of just going from A to B. They just kind of space out and don't necessarily always take consideration for other users of the road. All right, so I've just measured the handlebars, and so basically the way that they measure handlebars from factory and to your specification as well, when you go a custom job like this, is from the inner part to the inner part. So that's 69 centimeters that I requested, and the factory bar is actually around about 72 to 73. So I've actually got the grips on at the moment, so I can't measure it, but it is about 72 to 73 based on a number of advertisements that I'd seen on the WeBike website for them sort of mass-produced Kojima bars and Hurricane bars, etc. for the Rebel. So yeah, as you can see, the thickness of the bar is the same as factory, so you know that the controls, the grips, and what else? Yeah, it's going to fit inside the clamp. As you can see, it's got the ribs here on the bar to make sure that the bars don't shift around on you, even though you torque them down with an impact wrench. Hopefully you've got one. But yeah, I've never had bars move on me, and it's potentially because of the tightness of the bolt, but also that you've got some grip on here that it's not going to shift about like a non-ribbed bar. So yeah, so this was made within a few days to a week, and initially when I put my order through, that's all that I was actually going to buy. And I'm going to separate this install into two different videos, but you'll see here that they also make a rear license plate holder for the Rebel as well. Now you might have seen this in some people's pictures of the Honda Rebel online. So this basically, I actually asked Dave to make Noi Customs make the plate the size for our Australian license plate. So you can measure the height and width of your plate, and then they can make the plate custom to your needs. In my case, I just said to them, I don't care where the holes are for the plate because I'm quite happy to drill that. But if you were to give them the exact location where you'd want the hole, they could try their best to make it suit your needs. In any case, it's not very hard to drill through that with a drill at home anyway. So yeah, I'll talk more about this part in the next video, but just wanted to show you what that looked like and just let you guys know that there'll be another video coming for the install of that, which means that I will end up removing this quite generic license plate holder that I've had on the bike. I actually quite like this license plate holder, but what I found that is that where I park in the CBD, we've got a whole lot of like Uber Eats, motorbike, food delivery guys on scooters, and if they see a spot that they can nick into that they're not even supposed to, they will. And when they hop off their bike, obviously they're just not in the right frame of mind. And I've had a guy actually in my presence trip over this, and yeah, just made me think, screw that, I'm actually just going to get a bar that comes completely straight back, puts the license plate here on the back of the tire, and makes for a much neater install. Yeah, so all right, so what I'll probably start off by doing now is removing all the controls and everything for the handlebar, installing this and seeing what it looks like. All right guys, so about 5 minutes later, I've got the controls off. The bar is now sitting there on the ground next to the K-Speed one, and I've got the new Noi Customs bar installed on the bike. So awesome appearance to it. Can't wait to get the controls on. I've actually got it. Now this is one thing I wanted to mention to people. Because when you go to put your clamps on, just make sure that you hand tighten the bolts into the lower section of the clamp first, because the one thing that you would hate to do is thread that clamp and then you are absolutely stuck in riding because you don't have a tightened clamp. So hand thread it in first, then use your impact wrench to tighten it to spec, or use your torque wrench. It all depends on your reach of your arm as to the rake of the bar. So whatever's going to be comfortable for you, of course you can rotate it to the way you like it. I've just sat on the bike and found that this is the way that I would feel fairly comfortable with. But if you do find that it's not right for you, you can just loosen off these bolts, tilt it the way you want, and retighten it. So let's get now to putting all the controls back and let's take a look at the completed install. I feel that the main purpose for me wanting to change to these bars is because I wanted the relaxed riding position. So you can see how with the bars slightly higher, it would definitely allow for a more relaxed position. I can't wait to give you guys feedback on that. But also, when you do go for bar end mirrors, unfortunately, it does increase the width. So even though I went to 69 centimeters for this bar, in comparison to the stock bar at around about 72, I would like to take advantage of that. So, basically you can adjust this control here, which would space out where the end of this mirror goes. But I'm actually pretty happy with the way it looks for now. Of course, with these things, you just have to sort of ride and just get a feel for it, see what it's like. Now, before I put this final grip on, I just wanted to show you what the throttle tube looked like, because I don't think I'd shown that in my previous videos. But instead of just installing the grip straight onto the bar, as you do on your left side, the right side, the grip is a little bit wider in diameter, and that's because the throttle is inside, which has the throttle cable pin locked sort of here. It goes around and then down. So basically, this is what it looks like. I find the easiest way to put these grips on is to not actually hold the grip and place it in. It's actually easier to just push it from the end and just work your way. It's easier, of course you need two hands, but just in case you're wondering. And personally, I don't actually feel like for this particular sort of grip, it actually needs the hairspray. It's actually quite difficult to pull that out. And I did use originally a light bit of hairspray on there, but I'm not going to do it this time because ultimately I'll want to look at some stage, putting the drag bar back on with the K-speed mirrors just to mix it up. And yeah, so let's see what it looks like with this final grip installed. Okay guys, how cool does that look? This is the 4-inch 8-bar custom Noi special. This is the installation video for it to the Honda Rebel Special Edition. Tweaked Rebel, looking really nice. I've just had a nice feel for it. Just made sure that when I turn the handlebars full lock both ways, there's no interference. I can confirm that the cables have plenty of room. So as you can see, it's not even taut in any way. And yeah, I've basically just been able to rotate my controls in a way that the mirrors can see behind me. So here's what it looks like from behind. Side view. What do you think about that? Just amazing of this bike, the amount of aftermarket parts support. And I guess you could say, well, I guess it is. This is a quite a customized bike, but now I really do have a part that is not just off the shelf. It's made by a person that obviously has a passion for motorbikes, and that sort of translate in what you see here in front of me, a happy customer. So right guys, the video for the rear license plate relocation, the Noi Customs bracket holder, number plate holder, will come in the next video. Just remember guys that if you are interested in these parts or any other parts for your bike, you can try contacting Dave Takumi, and he will give you a quote for the price plus a quote for express air shipping to your destination anywhere in the world. As per usual, if you've got any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Please let me know. It helps me with my algorithms for the videos to actually trend and get some financial support for the video installs that I do for you guys. So yeah, if you have any questions and it doesn't necessarily pertain to the handlebar install for this video, please check in my other videos for the install of the part you see that you like, and I'll be sure to give you a reply. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you within the next 1 to 2 weeks with that next install. Bye for now. Fearless.